In this video, we're going to show you how to put in a egress stairs. Here's a photo of a typical kind of egress stairs, kind of your conventional in certain levels of detail. Of course, this is in construction documents, and we're just interested in achieving this at a design level rather than construction documents level. But nonetheless, we're going to put this in. But to do that, we really first need to, let's see if I can bring it up. We need to understand kind of some of the terminology of stairs. And so I'm just going to go through this real quick to kind of refresh your memory. You probably should have had this in a constructions class. But the main thing is that this is called the run. The horizontal is called the run. The rise is the vertical. And therefore, this distance from the top of the tread to the next tread is called the rise or riser. And the horizontal element right here that you see, of course, is called the tread. And so you get the riser and the tread, and then that area of the tread that sticks out beyond the riser is called the nosing. Okay, you can see it right here, the nosing. Of course, this is a newel. Any element that's used to change the or terminate or change the direction, a vertical element that's used to for that purpose is called the newel, and there may be a newel cap on it. Sometimes they have them, sometimes they don't. The other is, of course, the handrail, and that's this element right here, and then the baluster, which are all of these vertical elements in between here. And of course, by code, there can't be a distance of greater than 4 inches from one baluster to the other, and that's to prevent small children from sliding their bodies through the balusters. Okay, so now that we have that out of the way, let's go in and create us a new stair. I've modified my little building a little bit, took out some windows and stuff because we're going to make this area of these 4 quadrants, the egress stairs and the kind of core of the building. So I'm going to zoom in right here and focus in right here, and let's go ahead and go to the plan. So I'm in the first floor plan right here, and I'm ready to put a stair in. So I'm going to go to architecture and this stair, and you'll see 2 ways in which you can do that. One is by stair by sketch, and one stair by component. I would recommend that you use stair by sketch for this type of stair. You can look at some more tutorials and stuff and figure out what a stair by component is, but stair by sketch is the most common. And then we can set several parameters. One is well, we can draw it through several means. One is run, the other boundary, and then by risers. We're going to draw it by run. I think that's probably the simplest way to do it. Then we've got to go over here and set up all the constraints. So the first thing is to set the base level. So we want it to start on the finished floor, and then we don't want it to be offset from that level, so we're not going to set an offset. And then we want it to end on the top second floor. So I'm going to go here and find the second floor. And then this is a multi-story, but we're not going to use a multi-story top level. If we have a multiple levels, 30 floors or something like that, we can use this and it'll build the same stair for every floor, but you really need to have the same floor to floor. So for up text, we're going to use up. Down text, we're going to use down. Label the up, put an arrow on the up. Label the down, put an arrow on the down, and show up arrow. Oops. Now we'll just leave it like this. Now we're going to set the width of the stairs, and we know that the width of the stairs has to be a minimum of 42 inches for our building because of code. So I'm going to set this to 42 inches. We may, because of the handrail, have to widen this because the distance of 42 inches has to be from handrail to handrail. So we'll see how this falls out, and then we'll change it if need be. And then you'll see that the desired number of treads is 31, or risers is 31. It's calculated how many risers. you'll see the actual riser is from 6:31 30 seconds to the average. And that's because we're using this particular type of stair. Okay, and so let's look at stair types. If you look here, you'll see there's monolithic, and then there's kind of component stairs. Since we're going to use probably a steel stair, we're going to use this component stair. And I'm going to go in and edit the type and just take a look at the different kind of elements that are being called out. So we got a minimum tread of 11 inches. I prefer 12, but 11 will definitely meet code. A maximum riser of 7 inches, so we don't want the riser to be more than 7. And of course it adjusted it so that it was eventually 6 in 30 seconds. We can flip it over to a monolithic stair if we wanted to, but we don't want to. We can tell it how far to extend below the base and put a break symbol in the plan. Text size of the break symbol would be 330 seconds and the text font would be Arial. We can go ahead and assign materials if we wanted to. Right now we're not going to. We'll just wait on that. The tread thickness, that's the overall thickness of this right here, this tread material right there, right? That's that thickness. And it's set to 2 inches. That's good enough. And the nosing, that's how far the tread's going to stick beyond the riser. This area right here, so it's going to stick out 1 inch. The riser thickness, 1/4 inch, and of course we could set that to whatever we wanted, whatever material we thought we would be using. Extend riser behind tread. No, we don't want to do that. Okay, we might do this if we had an open riser. Okay, and in other words, there's no riser material. The treads are just open, so we might do it not there. Trim stringers at top. Do not trim. That puts a second trim on top of the stringer. Let's go back to our little diagram here, because I don't think I pointed that out. This element right here that holds the stairs up, okay, in wooden stairs and steel stairs is called the stringer. Okay, so those elements, whether they're 2x12s in a house or whether they're a C-channel with weldings on it and stairs, those are called the stringer. And then you'll see definitions of the stringers here. The right stringer closed, left stringer closed. That means that they make a rectangle. The middle stringer, there is none. Okay, you can have 3 stringers. And then the stringer thickness is 2 inches. The stringer height is 1 foot. And the carriage height and the landing height, that's the carriage height is this right here. It's called the carriage, this element right here in the stairage. And the landing height is the landing. So the stringer carriage height is 2.5 inches, and the landing carriage height is 7 inches. Okay. And that should be it. Okay. So we're going to say OK to that. We'll just accept those settings. And now we're going to set in our stairs. My recommendation is put the stair in, just put it in, and then move it to where you want it. And when you go to put it in using a run, the first thing you're going to do is set the beginning of the stair. There's ways to flip this, so don't worry about it. And you'll see right down here, it's really hard to see, but you see those letters. I don't know if they'll even show up on the video, but it's telling me how many risers I have remaining and how many risers I've created. And since we got 31, we'll have 16 and 15. So I'm going to put 16 here and set this risers as 16. So there's 16 on this side. Then I'm going to go over here, and right now I'm not going to worry about how far. I'm going to reset this here in a few minutes, but I'm going to go here, and then you'll see the remaining, there's 15 remaining risers, and I'm just going to accept those all over here. And then it's going to build the landing for me. It'll make the landing the same width as the stairs. And now, typically, this distance from here to here has to be a minimum of 1 foot. And so that's usually the minimum that they set it for. So we can go in here and we can move the stairs by resetting this dimension right here. So I'm going to go in and dimension this just so I know what it is. So right now it's 2 feet 3 3/4. Okay, and so I'm going to modify. If we add 42 inches and 42 inches, which is the width of the stairs here, the distance from center to center should be 42 inches, plus a foot would be 52 inches. So what I'm going to do is reset this dimension of this element right here. So I'm going to delete this, and let's go in and put a dimension here. I'll make it easiest. Okay, and I'm just going to click on modify and modify this and set this dimension. Oops. I'm sorry. I'm going to set this dimension of this element 52 inches from the other one. So I'm going to set 52 inches here. And you'll see it moved it in 52 inches. Now this should be 1 foot. Okay. So all I did was put a dimension on this line and this line. And then I selected one line that I wanted to move. And so when this run line moved, the rest of the stair moved with it. And so now we've got basically the stair in the way I want it. So I'm going to say OK to that. And it's going to add handrails. Matter of fact, let's just move this out right over here. Oops, I didn't get the whole stair. Let's grab the whole stair. There we go. And we'll move the whole stair out here. And this will make it easier for me to see it. So I'm going to go back to my building here. And so now we can see the stair. Okay, and you'll see it has balusters both on the inside where the wall would be, as well as on the interior. Now on the interior the balusters would exist, but since there's going to be a wall here on the outside, we don't need balusters there. So what I'm going to do is click on that stair railing, and let's just open that type so we can see it. And you can see this is defining the railing of the stairs. You can see its height is set to 3 feet. The type of rail is 2 inches by 2 inches. We can go in and set a profile any shape size we want. There's elliptical, circular are given as defaults, but we can go in and set those. We learn how to make defaults. And then you can see handrail 1, handrail 2, so we can set different materials and different types of rails. That means we can put intermittent rails in here. Okay, so if we add another rail in here, like a child's rail, we can have another rail in here, but we're not going to do that. And then angle joins, tangent joins, extend rails to meet. That's good. And rail connections, we want them trimmed. Use landing height adjustment, no. And so that looks pretty good. So, but what we're going to do is duplicate it, and we're going to make a no baluster version of this. And we're going to turn balusters off. So I'm going to, if I can remember how here, so to make no balusters, I'm going to come in here and say set it to balusters to none. Okay, this is also where you set the nature of the baluster, whether you want it round or smooth or square or whatever. Okay, so I'm going to say OK to that, and then I'm going to say OK. And when I do, you'll see all my balusters. I've still got an element here I don't want. That would be the newels. Let's go back into our railing again. Edit type, and these are start post and corner post. These are your newel post. So I forgot to set those to none too. So I'm going to come in here and set those all to none. and apply that and say OK and apply and OK. And now I don't have any posts, right? All these handrails. It's a little bit more difficult to get rid of these handrails, so I'm not going to get into that right now. We'll just leave them there. Now, with the stair finish, I'm going to go back to level 1, finish 4, and I'm just going to move it into place. So let's just do a simple move. And before I place it finally, I'm going to build a stairwell, a 2-hour rated stairwell. So I'm going to finish this up in the next video, stair part 2.